So appreciation, you mean people buy a property, they rent it out, and then you hope or calculate or think within 10, 20, 30 years, the property will value much more and then I can sell it for a higher price.
That's always the case. I don't know, since I've been in real estate, which property somebody purchased 10 years ago and is not worth more today.
That's what I wanted to know. Is that really always the
That's guaranteed.
okay?
Look at where you are. You can't buy a property today for the price you would have been able to pay for it 10 years ago.
Yeah, we have it everywhere, I think, around the world. Buying real estate for your own, like young people cannot afford it usually. Um, okay, interesting to see because I wanted to really know, is it really like that? Or you also have to understand the area, the market, the city.
Yeah, I mean, it is because some areas appreciate faster than others.
So ideally, when you do stuff like that, you should understand, do I have an exit plan? Do I want to keep this for 5, 10, 20 years? Okay. And this appreciation, can you give a percentage like,
About 5% a year is what I see on average.
okay, so every year 5% more.
What I see on average. And you can look at Zillow actually. You have access to Zillow. Zillow has like a little chart that shows you, a graph of values increasing or decreasing year by year. And you can, do a quick calculation. I mean, you have so much AI now too. You could just run a model in AI and say, hey, in this particular town, can you tell me how much the properties are appreciated in value year over year in the last 5 years, in the last month? And it would kind of give you that calculation. Of course, that you have to validate because it's AI, but you can get some
Hmm.
quick back of the napkin type of scenarios.
Hmm. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you. So Zillow is like a website database that I can access.
Yeah, Zillow is just, it tells you the average values of a home. It's not like a true value, but it just gives you an average of what's sold in the last 6 months. Now, property types could be different, square footage could be different, renovation type could be different, but it just gives you an average. And what most homeowners do here is they feel like the Zillow value is the value of their home, which is a big mistake, right? Because there's a lot of things to account for. There could be homes in Zillow that sold that didn't have a garage or didn't have air conditioner, and you can't compare it to a house that needs rehab and doesn't have air conditioning or needs extensive work. So
And in the end, it's always about the market. Like if you find a buyer who wants to buy more, or in your case, when everything was down, you had to sell and no one pays the price. So there's also this part. Like you can look into what's the average square meter price in that area, but if you find someone who wants to pay more because they just want it, you can of course push the price up.
correct. Yeah, real estate is the only business that I know of for me personally that is a really good challenge and you'll never figure out the puzzle because there's so many different things that you can do, right? So 2008 came and the GFC happened. I actually transitioned over to a different strategy, note buying, where I would buy notes from the bank because the banks were selling instead of foreclosing. And that helped me with diversification because I was able to help homeowners get back on track. And then they made the payments to me because I was their new bank because I purchased the defaulted loans from the bank. When I learned that strategy, I also learned about seller financing, where I can buy a house, let's say for $80,000, just giving the number. I can put 20,000 in it to fix it. Now I'm into it for 100,000. It may be worth 150,000. I can actually finance the sale of a $150,000 sale to a homeowner where they give me 10% down and they make monthly payments. And then I can go take that mortgage of 150,000 and sell it to someone else, right? I learned so much stuff in the note business. It just blows your mind. But that helped me with the deal I did a year and a half ago. We purchased it was a $12 million property. And we were able to strategically assume the existing debt from the seller and buy the LLC. And there was another deal I did where we purchased the property from the seller and we had the seller do a seller carryback, meaning the seller became the bank and I became the borrower. But I didn't have to put a big deposit and go through this whole credit thing and take forever with a traditional bank. I gave the seller the idea, why don't you be the bank? Instead of selling the property and getting hit with this tax burden, you can just take a small amount and then let me make monthly payments 5 years in only. That will give me the time to stabilize the property, to refinance it, to pay you off.
Mhm.
So there's so many different strategies in real estate where you can buy the note, you could do seller financing, you can buy subject to an existing loan, you can fix and flip. It's just amazing what you can do in real estate.